I struggled how to structure this since it was left to my liberty. So I'll first share my story, and then for those that may particularly be interested in the SI scholarship, I will sort of give an overview. Because of time, I won't go deep, but I'll try to cover some important aspects for those people. So my name is Racheal Lokou. You may have had Dr. Ebo call me doctor. I'm a pharmacist. I'm also I'm a mental health advocate. That's why I like to term myself. And then I'm also an auntie. I like to say that since I don't yet have kids of my own. And I also I'm a plant mom. Yeah, just to keep it light. So where I started, I graduated from Makerere in 2020. I did a Bachelor of Pharmacy, and right after that, I went for my internship, and immediately after that, which was in 2021, I think I got my first job. So then the hustle for scholarship searches began. So at that point in time, I searched up a few scholarships. I looked here and there, but most of them, as you know, most of them require you to have work experience, to at least of 2 years work experience for most of the scholarships that I know. So at the time, I just gave it a little bit of thought, and while still doing the background research, I knew I wanted to pursue a scholarship abroad. I wanted to study abroad. So I did a little bit of search, but didn't really go much into applications. So in 2022, that's when my deep scholarships search began. So the very first scholarship that I applied for was the Commonwealth Scholarship by the Ministry of Health. So as I'll go deeper later on, I think I was disqualified at like even the first stage because I did not have a passport. Yeah, that was the sad bit about it. Then I then applied for equity and merit, and I still did not. They actually got back to me like a year later. I didn't hear from them or anything. They got back to me a year later. That was in 2023. Oh, you did not get, but I had already given up. But then in 2023, I actually became more intentional, and then I applied for the SI scholarship. That is the Swedish Institute for Global Professionals Scholarship that most of you may be interested in today. So in 2023, I did apply for the SI scholarship. No, in 2022, since the scholarship period opens in October, I did apply for it, but I did not get in. Finally, last year in 2023, still when the scholarship season opened, I did apply for the SI scholarship again. But this time round, I decided to have a twist to it because it's the same brain that applied in 2022. It's the same brain that applied for all those 3 scholarships, and I was not getting in. So I figured I could do something different. That is when I approached SCCM, ABO to be specific. So I remember it was this January that I met ABO. I think we had a cup of coffee in Tinder. The very first time I reached out to him, he's all like, oh, what do you want? I mean, the deadline was coming up. I reached out to Ebo and I told him, can you guarantee me leaving this country in September of 2024? Because I was tired, I had applied, I was exhausted. I must say the rest is history. We met up with Ebo, we set up timelines, we sat down, we looked at my essays for the application, we submitted, and the scholarship application came, we still submitted, but it was quite a tough process because last year when I applied, to be honest, I think sometimes when you're applying, you have the hope and you're thinking this is the last time, and I'm not going to be in Uganda. Like, I did not see myself in Uganda maybe by September of last year, but alas, I was still there. So this year I was a bit demoralized, to be honest, but I picked up myself and decided to go again to apply for the SI scholarship. So this was my second time I applied. And I also remember being in a webinar last year where current SI scholars were presenting to us. I did pick up a few gems from it. So I'm hoping, even if I impact one or two people today with my presentation, I do hope to meet some of you in Sweden next year, since my master's is a 2 years program. So yes, allow me share my slides. I have some few slides that I want to share with you. We'll be taking the questions after the session. Maybe I'll do a 20-minute presentation if time will allow. Just a minute. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, thank you, Benedict. I've already given a brief intro about me, just said to put some pictures to give me some sort of character. And yeah, so first off, we'll start with basics. I think when I approached Abel, the very first thing he told me was, let's first take a step back. Because I went to him, the very first thing I gave him was, I have applied for this scholarship and these are my essays. Then we first took a step back to ask me, Rachel, but why are you applying for this scholarship? He took me through something that I think will stay with me for life, which was a personal discovery session that I had with him. It was a series of like 3 sessions. We went back and forth on what do you want to do in like your career, what do you want to do in your family, what do you want to do in, say, marriage, and all those other aspects, and how do they tie together with you going to Sweden to pursue this master's. So the very first thing is start with the basics. Just take a step back to wonder, why are you applying for this master's? Is it in line with the career that you want to pursue? Are you just pivoting from what you're doing to another career? And then also, why Sweden or the UK or Canada or any country that you may be applying to? Why do you want to go there? Have you actually looked at the rankings of the university that you're applying to, or you just want to leave Uganda, which is not a very good place to start. We've seen people applying to universities that are even worse ranked than Makerere in Uganda. So you have to ask yourself that. And then also, do you intend to migrate? What are the available options post-study? There are some scholarships that don't allow you to go back to your home country for 2 years. So you have to give a consideration for all these things and not just be someone who's just taking anything. And then there may be people on this call who do not even have a passport. I mean, you want to leave the country, you don't have a passport. Please, I think you should be able to have a passport by the time you're on this call. Then also the information on your documentation, does it match? So when I applied for the Commonwealth Scholarship via the Ministry of Education, I remember I did not have a passport then in 2022, but I had applied for it. So it delayed to come. So by the time I submitted my documentation, I actually told them, can you give me 2-3 days to bring the passport? I called someone at Internal Affairs to see if I could get it faster. And that is just how I just missed the opportunity. But that opportunity cost me another year. Yeah, and all this is years passing by, and yet there should be time for you to do other things. So, and then there's also an issue of falsification of documents. So that SI actually does, they claim to do a background check on all the documents that you claim to submit with the issuing institution. So please do not be tempted to forge documents. And then as you'll see maybe later on, are you a change maker in society? Because SI and all these scholarships are looking for change makers. They're looking for people who are doing something in society. And yeah. Then now we'll look at SI scholarship. I'll just try to delve in a bit. So I hope everyone on this call is familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I'm sure if you've attended other webinars, you've heard about the SDGs. And Sweden, I think the country Sweden is synonymous with sustainability. That is something that they're known for. So while you are making your application, you must have the SDGs in mind. Your master's scholarship should be tied to an SDG. Is it tied to gender equality? Are you maybe a teacher that is tying it to SDG for quality education? So you must take time to read and see where your master's scholarship ties to which SDG it ties to. So the very first process, there are two parallel processes for application. So there is the university admission and then there's a scholarship process, each with different timelines. So I think the university admissions open in exactly a month's time from today. That will be on the 15th of October this year. You can get, you can look it up on universityadmissions.se, this link here, where you get to pick 4 choices and then you rank them. Then you'll be required to submit documentation. And then there will be program-specific requirements for each course. So you should also take time to have to look at the program-specific requirements. Some courses will not have essays. Some courses will require you to submit an SOP, that is a statement of purpose. So you look at each of them. Yeah, and then I've also noticed that some people tend to pick maybe one choice or two. It's really up to you, but I mean, you'd rather pick 4 to maximize your chances. And then you have to take note of the deadlines. It opens on October 15th, 2024, and the deadline is the 15th of January, 2025. So there is an application fee for this scholarship. It's 900 SEK, which is really about 330,000.
What this scholarship?
Yes, Joseph? Did someone say something? Sorry. There's an application fee that you pay of about 900 SEK, which is 330,000 Ugandan shillings, which, to be honest, in comparison to maybe the 300 or 400 million the Swedish government is going to invest in you, that should be something little for you to invest in your future. And then the other thing that the SI team is very particular on is following instructions. In my opinion, to be honest, I think this is the easier bit. And if you follow the instructions to the T and have these honest essays, you should be able to get a scholarship. Usually scholarships are, I mean, the admissions are announced in around March. Yeah, and then actually, then you have to apply for the scholarship. So the deadline for applying for the university admissions is 15th Jan, and then in Feb, I think around 10th of February, usually, the scholarship portal opens, and it usually opens for, I think, 10 to 14 days, depending. So you have from October until Feb to fill out all these forms. There's a number of forms that you're required to fill out, which I'll delve in later. It's quite a lot of time, but again, you know how some people like to do things last minute. you're in the last minute running around looking for stamps, but you have all this time. So in November, right after the admissions, university admissions portal opens, they publish the documentation that is required for the SI scholarship. So you download, the forms are available, and then you look for your reference letters, you look for your proof of work, and whoever you need to fill them out for you. So I think it's quite sufficient time in comparison to other scholarships that give you quite a small time. So briefly, before we go deep into the SI scholarship, so what does SI give you? So of course you have it's a fully funded scholarship. You have full tuition fee coverage. You have a monthly allowance of 12,000 SEK. And then there's insurance that is given to the students, insurance against illnesses and accidents, that is both in Sweden and in the whole of the EU. You have a one-time travel grant of 15,000 SEK, and you have a membership to the SI Network for Global Professionals, which is a good networking platform. And then at the end of it all, you become an SI alumni. So for those that may want to read more about it, you can just go on Google and put in si.se. Yeah. So some key dates for you to consider, for those that may be considering. So in October to January, as I previously said, application to the Swedish Masters programs through university admissions opens. In November this year, the scholarship application documents are published. And then in February of 2025, the application portal is open. It's open for a very short window, so you must be ready. Like by the time Feb reaches, you must have all your documentation ready. And then in March, university admissions, it's usually around the 21st, or maybe the dates may change depending on the year, or maybe it's a weekend, but usually the university admissions announces the admitted students for the programs. And then in April of 2025, the SI scholarships are announced. So if you're not admitted to any program that you have applied for, automatically you'll be disqualified for the SI scholarship, and only those who have gotten admission are then move on to the next stage of being considered for the SI scholarship. So the requirements, of course, it's admission to a university in Sweden, and then they do need previous work experience. You'd have to look at the forms. I think it's approximately around 2 years, but there's guidance on how to calculate the hours. So, but they explicitly say that, however, you don't have to be employed at the time of application. I mean, they understand that things happen. Some contracts may end, you may have been laid off. So, but you must submit proof of work experience. There's a maximum of 3 forms you can submit to, depending if your hours are enough for you. Then the valid work experience could include full-time or part-time employment, or maybe someone is a freelancer or even an employer. So that is accepted. And then there is also the leadership experience. So the leadership experience is also a maximum of 2 forms. Yeah. And then there is a CV that you need to submit. And the biggest, in my experience, is the civil society engagement. I think every SI scholar that you ask or encounter will tell you about the civil society experience, which is basically sort of work with an NGO or voluntary work aside from your work experience. And then the other big thing is the reference letters. We'll dive deep into that later. So for purposes of this presentation, I want to highlight some few things that could make you stand out, because I mean, everyone is making an application, but you want to be the one that is picked out. So the very first thing is to follow instructions. This is very big. This is very big. So I remember my first application, I was overwhelmed with work. I had a very demanding job. So to be honest, I think my application was also haphazard. Like they're telling you stamp on every page, for you're just stamping on one. And then the same way, maybe the same way that you see how they announce for jobs, and they put maybe a master's degree is an added advantage. So also when you're reading the instructions for these applications, they'll probably tell you that for a reference letter, we'll need a reference letter from maybe your work, your previous work. And then they're saying that a reference letter from a civil society advantage would be preferred, though one from an academic background could also be preferred. So, I mean, you'd rather take the one that gives you an added advantage. So strictly follow instructions. And I think that is also one of the biggest thing that has disqualified some students. And then be coherent and organized. As I said, most of this entire scholarship is hinged around SDGs. So you cannot be confused. You cannot have 4 different in essence, like you can't be, say you're applying for nursing. This is just an example. Then you have again engineering. This is then there's some other SDG as well. So as someone who's reading your application, I would get the impression that you don't know what you want. You're not coherent, you're not organized, your mind is everywhere. So give us a flow, let things flow, let things tie together from your school application to your scholarship application. There should be a similarity in the two. Then you should have an outstanding CV. So when I first went to ABO, when we were working on my scholarship, I remember there's one thing that he told me that stuck with me, is that your job description does not translate to what you actually did. Most of you have job descriptions with maybe 4 lines, but you're doing 15 things at the job every day. So you must be able to quantify that. That is why I put the STAR technique, and I'm sure this you've had this from different maybe scholarship webinars for those that have attended. Quantify the work you have done. So when you say you led a team of maybe interns, or you are the manager for the, quantify. So I was a manager, I led a team of 15 people, and then we did this. It led to this percentage of improvement in like the processes. So keep it short and sweet. Do not go mumbling and describing your what you did in like 5 different paragraphs, giving us a qualitative description of it. Keep it short and sweet. Give us figures, what you did and what it resulted into. And I think that is something that will make you stand out. And I also think that is something that made my application to stand out. Then do your research. Yeah, do your research. I think now in the age of social media, your For You page, in the sense, because I'm using TikTok and Instagram, your For You page should be working for you. Because I mean, now I'm actually struggling to make the algorithm remove scholarships from my pop-ups and ads. So that should say something. So as you continue searching, you find most of these scholarships find you. As I say, what you're looking for is looking for you. So do your research. There's a lot of content. I've watched YouTube videos from Abo, and I think Dr. Dan Musinguzi as well on their YouTube channel. There's a lot of information for you. A lot of scholars are giving out free information as a way to pay it forward, since they were also given this free information. So please do your research. Yes. And then the other thing is avoid generic answers when writing essays. Scholarships are not a pity party. I think that I'm sure Ebo would agree. No one is going to give you a scholarship because you are maybe the 15th born in the poorest region of Uganda. I don't think those stories are being sold anymore. So you actually have to bring value to the scholarship team. Yeah. So avoid generic answers, avoid generic essays. I want to help the Ugandan population. Give us exactly what you want to do. Also give your essays personality. You could also make an emotive read to evoke emotion in someone when reading your essay to see that this person truly needs it. There are times when you also read your essay and you think to yourself, to be honest, I also don't think I deserve this scholarship. So let it give it your all. Then the other thing is having stellar reference letters. So in my experience, I do not recommend writing your own reference letters if possible. Some people may differ, but this is my opinion. Because I think your writing can be similar in your essays and even in your reference letters. Yeah. So if possible, I know probably referees are also very, very busy people. You can have maybe someone else write it. I don't know. But if you can convince your referee to help you write your reference letter, and then you can probably edit it with some truths, and probably if you want to beef it up, by all means, but please do not write your own reference letters. And then also I've seen people's reference letters where it's literally just 3 lines. What is the motive? Why do you think maybe Racheal is good for this scholarship? Then someone just wrote 3 lines. You have, I think that's what the reference letters have, up to 2 pages, but you've tried to fit it in 1.5. That is not to say you should fill the 1.5 pages with gibberish, but please let someone feel the soul in your writing to be able to decide to give this person as scholarship. Yeah. And then I think, I don't want to say this goes without saying, but mentorship is key. I think also the one key ingredient that helped me with my second time was having SCCM hold my hand, having Ebo hold my hand. I actually remember there are nights when Ebo was actually, when he was, I mean, he's still doing his PhD. There were times when he was in the UK and he would call me at like midnight and we are discussing this, and I'm telling him I have a deadline, but he's all like, Racheal, this essay is not good. And I would get so annoyed. I'm like, my essay I feel is good. And he's like, no, this essay is not good. And I would get up the next morning at 5 a.m. I'm writing since I have to go back to work. Yeah, there's all those things that are in between, but you need a mentor to hold your hand. It doesn't have to be SCCM. It can be someone who has gone through this process before, but also don't just randomly pick a mentor, maybe someone who's older and they have no experience with scholarship applications. That does not make sense. You will still have someone, they're probably good at something else, but they've never won, not even one scholarship, and you're using them. But also the other thing that I'd like to highlight is sometimes also when you go to these mentors, some of you really go with raw, there are essays that you see that are raw applications, that there's a lot of work that that needs to be done. I mean, have it peer reviewed by a friend who you probably have you think is someone of high regard that can help you with that before you actually go to these mentors. I mean, people are really busy. So yes. Then I actually did speak to some SI scholars, just a few, and I did ask them to give us some advice. Yeah. And JD from my university said to keep an eye on the sustainable development goals and make sure your application is aligned to at least 3 of them. I think that was her experience. Yes. And then Ahmad Mubarak, he's at KTH, he's an engineering student. He said, be selective on what you're gonna insert on your CV. No achievement is too small or big. So an example is actually when I looked at my networking, networking experience, civil network, it's network or civil society engagement. At school, I was a finance secretary for the Uganda Pharmaceutical Students Association. Initially, in my previous application, I did not think that was applicable. But this time, I was like, you know what, this is something big that I did. I mean, I put it on the application, and yeah, it turned out fine. So don't downplay your achievements. But also the other thing I noticed is packaging. Most people have the content, but they do not know how to package it. Yeah. And I think that's how a mentor comes in to help you. You are literally selling yourself. Why are you worth us investing 400 million Ugandan shillings? Why are you worth investing 500,000 SEK in your education? So yeah. Then this is actually my friend Lucia. She said, take everything one step at a time. Take it stepwise from the application process to your arrival. This is me assuming I'm going to have some of you here next year, to adapting to a new environment, and then embrace every moment as if it's your first. And then approach each experience with an open mind. Don't take anything for granted. Every new journey or challenge or opportunity will shape your journey. So yeah, finally, this is just some inspiration. This is my university's main library. The picture looks grainy, but yeah. And then lastly, be aggressive and highly ambitious when applying for these scholarships. You should apply like that's the only chance you have. Some people apply like, if I fail this year, I'll get again next year. But no, you don't know that. You do not know that. And also my mom keeps telling me there's time for everything. You want to get this done with and move on to other things in life. So give it your all. If you need to invest in mentors, if you need to invest in applying for these scholarships, please do. Be as aggressive and give this your all, and I'm sure it will pay off. So yeah, thank you. I think we'll open up the floor for any questions. Over to
Thank you
you,
so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Racheal, for sharing your experience. I believe people must really have questions. So please, if you have questions, you're free to raise your hand, type in the chat. Or yes. Please feel free, if you want to unmute, you can text me. Yes. Yes, please feel free to unmute. I can see Mr. Edith Young. Yes, you can unmute.
Okay, thank you so much, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Racheal, Dr. Racheal, for this wonderful session. So I just want to ask one question. Last year, I applied for this as a scholarship, but I didn't have it. So I don't know whether it was my essay or something, but something I want to clarify. For the civil society experience, more like working on like a volunteer in any civil society. For example, I got my reference letter last year from the Nigerian Red Cross Society. I'm a Nigerian from Nigerian Red Cross Society, but the email attached to the reference letter was just a personal email. I don't know if it would be right or if it's the standard operation where one has to put an institutional email. Would that be an hindrance or a barrier to getting a scholarship? Because the person that signed for me used his personal email. And moreover, the Red Cross doesn't have an institutional email for some leaders in the Red Cross. I don't know if that was the issue or something. If that's can be clarified, please. Thank you.
Thank you. So I don't know, should we take, maybe I'll take 2 questions at a time and then I'll answer. Bena? There was another hand up that I saw.
Yes, I can see there was another hand up. Yes, any other question? Please, if you have a question, feel free to unmute and go ahead and share your question.
Okay. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Rachel, and I also thank Abel and the team. This is really something I was looking after. I was looking up to, and I applied last year to Linnaeus University. I qualified for all the four. I was admitted one, but the problem I had was with the SI. I think my S is for SI scholarship. Now, the most challenging bit, which I've not had you tell us, that I faced, at least for me, was the part of dealing with the video. That I think 3 minute or 1 minute video, it really challenged, and I went through all that without a mentor, and I believe the quality of the SI scholarship and filling in that form, if when it came to filling in the data and what, you touch one thing and everything gets disorganized, and it gave me a lot of challenges. But I also learned a bit late. I put my application together in around 2 weeks. But what I wanted to ask you to guide is on the response of the letter, and again also
Is it the
now
letter
this time
or
that
the
I'm
video?
repeating the process again.
Ivan.
The video, sorry, the video.
Okay.
Yes, the video. And the other, I think I'll need to contact also Mr. Abe. Now the other thing now I'll see, I'm still on the SI on the system. I did not, for some reason, I did not defer. I did not defer the application, and now I want to restart the whole process again. Remember, I had submitted my CV and all that. I don't know if in a way that can affect me, and also can I put Linnaeus University also? Should it be, because it was my first alternative, and they gave me, can I also consider it, or this time I can put it to and I pick on another course, although all the courses I'd applied for were around information systems and one was information security. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Evan. So I'll take the first question from my brother from Nigeria. So from my personal experience, first of all, when you look at the application forms, they explicitly say that it should be, I'm just paraphrasing, like an executive or like the HR. Yeah, there are people who get their colleagues to sign for them on the reference letters, which is very, very wrong. Mine was signed by all my reference letters were signed by directors at the different organizations that I worked with. So that is also something for you to have that kind of relationship with senior management. I mean, if I have, and then it also says you're not supposed to get a reference letter from your direct manager. It could be an HR who can speak on your work, or an executive person who can speak on your work as well. So I honestly, this is my own personal opinion, I honestly do not think the institutional email in the entire application was probably the reason why you did not get this this scholarship. I think if every other thing checks out, I mean, there is official stamps, there's all these things. If all these other things check out, I think it should have been good. There probably was something else. But also, I think also an official email is also something that gives authenticity to an application. So I would guide to get a reference letter from an organization that has official emails. Yeah. So that would be my advice on that. And then for Ivan's submission on the video. So I also remember the video application. I struggled with it a bit. I won't lie, you were not alone. So, and I also got to find out that it's not everyone that gets the video application. There are SI scholars who did not get the video sent to them. They said it was randomized to, I don't know what the criteria was, but not everyone got the video interview. So I think the one kind of advice that I would ask you is to probably, because the questions are not any different every year. They're just twisting around these questions. Because even the other year, I got a question, but it was not so different. I don't remember the question I got this year, but I think it was around what would you do when you're done with your master's, something along those lines. I would advise, because I think I've seen a lot of YouTube videos where people have sessions on these questions. So you'd probably sample out these questions and try answering them. And then on that day, you're actually doing these questions. I mean, answering this question on the video that they give you. One, please don't wait for the 14th day, when that is the day, I don't know, you don't have stable internet. That is the day there is not enough lighting. If you're supposed to show your face, give it some time, because they give you up to 14 days to answer that question. Take your time, answer all these questions, sample questions that you have, and I guarantee you would be able to be more calm in that 1 minute video to be able to answer the question so well. And then on the aspect of your application, last year, I had the exact same applications to the exact same universities. Oh, I may have forgotten to mention that I am pursuing a master's in public health from Lund University. So Lund University was still my first choice in 2022. It was still my first choice in 2023. So I did not change anything. And then in the portal, if you applied the previous year, there are some documents that you do not need to resubmit again, unless you maybe want to send an updated CV. You can put a new one.
So she was like, oh, sorry, really sorry. I told him to work with government.
Sorry,
No
sorry.
problem, my sister.
Actually,
It has happened, it has happened. Yeah, but now, and you really saw this thing coming, eh? I think your heart had already communicated to you. I am telling you. Eh?
Just a minute. I don't know, has she been muted? Oh, yes.
Yes, she has been muted. Please go
Sorry
ahead.
for that. So I was still saying, one, also you cannot defer your application. If you applied last year, there is no way you would just have to redo the same application. You cannot defer an application that was, I mean, an admission that was given to you. So just redo the same application. If you still have the same choices that you had as last year, you can resubmit them in that exact same order. If you have any changes that you want to make, you can add new documents as may be required, because I think the previous year I did not submit a work certificate that was required, and this time I submitted one. Yeah, thank you. I hope that has answered your questions, Ivan.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Racheal. And I have some questions of my own as well.
Yes.
The first one is, how did you know about SCCM? And I think, and also, what would you recommend other people who are at the application stage right now?
How did I know about SCCM? So this year, yeah, I'm in one of the scholarship groups, UG Scholarship Group 6, I think. So I actually got to know SCCM out of my own personal frustration, to be honest. I reached out to, I think he's called Emmanuel from one of the admins of the scholarship group, I was tired of having the same applications and not getting results. So I reached out to him and asked him, do you know anyone who is offering mentorship? Do you know anyone who is, helping students with their applications? And then he told me, oh yeah, there is SCCM. Then he gave me Abel's contacts, and that is how I reached out, and the rest is history. So the other question that you asked me, for those that are applying, I think I've sort of already given out some gems, and I think I saw Dr. Dan have a summary in the chat. So I think one thing is to get assistance. However much you think you are know-it-all or you are top of your class, valedictorian, you need assistance. Yeah, get assistance. Then the other thing is
share it again. Some
Yes?
of us came late. Kindly share it again. Some of us came in late.
Okay, sorry. So I'm actually just reading a summary from what Dr. Dan put in the chats. One, get a passport if you don't already have a passport. Second, get assistance for mentors, get some mentorship for the different applications. Then the other thing is keep, I know this is very generic advice, but keep on keeping going. Yeah, one day you'll just be surprised and you'll get a scholarship. So don't tire. And then also the other thing is the people who get scholarships also they all bleed red blood like you. So there are no more Ugandans, no more Nigerians, no more Ghanaians who are getting these scholarships. The only difference is they actually did take a chance of themselves and they did put in the work and aggressively applied for these scholarships. Yeah. And then the other thing is, please be, I probably didn't mention this, but please pay attention to the details. When you look at this SI application, there are lots of I don't want to call them hidden, because they're not really hidden, but they're like instructions that they'll tell you, but you may just because the application is quite long, and not that long, but there are some few things that you may just easily miss out. Like, as I already said, like they've told you stamp every page, and for you decide to not stamp. There's just those few things. Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be the advice that I would give. And maybe I can share the slides later with SCCM to probably give them to anyone that may be interested, or you can reach out to me personally and I'll have them shared with you. So I'm seeing Maria, she has a hand up.
Yes, before Maria comes up,
Yeah.
I'd like to read a few questions that are in the chat.
Okay.
So someone asked, does SI scholarship have a requirement to return into your country after studies? And then someone says, are there specific courses tenable for the scholarship? And is it only universities in Sweden for the SI scholarship? Yes.
Okay, so one, when you look at the SI terms and conditions, there's no requirement for you to return to your home country after you have completed your master's, but they give a blank statement. I feel like it's implied. They give a blank statement, like I'm just paraphrasing. It sounds like, since you said you would probably go back to your home country to develop it, you might as well. Those are my own words, but there is no, in the terms and conditions, you are not mandated to go back to your home country. And I have seen SI scholars who have gotten jobs. I actually know one who is currently working at the Cancer Research Center. He's a researcher here in Malmo, where my university is. He's an SI scholar and he decided to stay. So there is no explicit requirement, but also now when you're applying and you're telling SI, because they're probably going to ask you, what are you going to do when you finished your studies? That's probably something you know at the back of your mind that probably you do not want to come back. Let me not be quoted on this call. But you're not going to tell a scholarship, you sold your story, you want to develop Uganda, then you're telling them, I'll probably look for a job in Europe. Like, honestly, I also would not give you a scholarship. So, yeah. Then there's another question that you asked me. Is it only universities in Sweden for the SI scholarship? Yes, it is only universities in Sweden. Just to say, I think there are 28 higher institutions in Sweden that are offering scholarships. So there are so many courses for you to choose from. I think if you're looking for something, you will get something in any of the 28 universities. So there's quite a buffet of courses to pick up from. So I think that also answers the next question that you had asked, I hope. Yeah. Any other question?
Yes, thank you so much. I think now Maria, Amos, then Ivan. Thank you. And then we can conclude.
Okay.
I wanted to ask a question. Can I ask?
Yes, please.
I wanted to know, like, can you like recommend for us like at least the best universities, because you may apply to a university and it's hard for you to get like a visa or admission, like which ones are the top best?
So I don't think the kind of university that you apply to affects your visa application process. Once you have your notification of results, the migration agency of Sweden takes it on from there. So I don't think that affects it. But not to bias you, please go to, there's so many rankings of universities. So go to QS rankings or the other available options and check out the best universities in Sweden or any other country that you'd like to pursue. I cannot speak on that to tell you maybe this one is the best, this one is the best. But then also what you have to understand is that there are universities that are known for certain things. For example, maybe KTH is good for engineering and architecture and the likes. So you also have to put that into consideration when applying. But for you to get a non-biased view of the best universities, please look up the rankings. QS rankings is a good place to start. Then also the other thing is usually the course-specific website pages have acceptance rates. For example, my program had a 2.5% acceptance rate into the program. So kindly look that up as well, because I mean there were 1,500 applications and only 40 students were accepted. So look at that to be able to also help you look at your chances. But I think the thing that you should worry more about is the scholarship. I think most people get into the universities. Yeah, most people do. Yes, Maria.
Thank you. I wanted to like confirm, like if I get the scholarship, so the immigration from Sweden handles like the visa and everything.
Yes. Okay, I didn't want to go into that because that's the easiest bit. It's just a breeze. Like once you get your scholarship, everything is sorted. You just have to show up. Like even the embassy is calling you. Like everything is just so easy. So I don't think that should be your worry, to be honest. Migration, SI probably writes to, they give you your scholarship offer letter, and then they write to, you submit it to migration. Within like a few days, everything is approved. So I don't think that is something that you should be worrying about now. The biggest thing you should be worrying about is getting the scholarship. Unless you intend to pay for yourself, that's a whole other story. But I don't think that is something that anyone should worry about at this point. Yeah.
We'd have to still.
Yes. Yeah, please let's have Amos and we conclude. Thank you so much.
Yes, I also wanted to ask. Some scholarships have an age limit. Does this one have an age limit to?
I can't hear.
Does the SI scholarship have an age limit? Like I've seen some scholarships have an age limit that they put.
No. SI does not have an age limit. Then maybe also SI does not have an age limit. Bena, can you mute some people? Thank you. So SI does not have an age limit. So if you're 45, you can apply. If you're 50, you can apply. So there's no age limit really to the application for the scholarship. Anyone can get it. Just have to prove yourself.
Hi, Anna.
One last question.
Thank you so much. Yes, Emma, please proceed.
Okay, I was interrupted before. Thank you for your mentorship sessions. I had a question to do with English test requirements. I don't know if they consider it or it's not part of the application requirements.
So sorry. So I initially thought I've actually noticed that we have different people from different parts of Africa. So there are different requirements for different countries for the English proficiency. So lucky for you, for Uganda, you do not need to sit IELTS. That's a very good thing. So they require your UCE, that's Form 4. They require your UCE certificate, and I think you must have at least a C for you to be eligible to have English proficiency, to have gotten a C in your UCE exams in senior 4. So that's good for Uganda. But other countries, I have not checked the requirements for other countries, but you can go on the website for universityadmissions.se and you'll be able to look it up depending on where you're tuning in from.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Richard. The questions are many, but you keep them coming. You can send me an email. You can contact Dr. Richard because I think we can't finish all of them. But thank you so much for really, really giving us a wonderful presentation and for driving that point home. We have these weekly webinars every Tuesday. Please, if you want to learn more and experience and hear from more mentors or more people who have won these scholarships, please come and join us every weekly.
I think Bena has gone off. So I have shared my email for those that may have some questions, but I think every answer that you need is on the website, to be honest. Maybe if it's anything technical that you would need to ask me, you would have to look
Yes,
at
like I
how
was
can help. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Please proceed.
Now, I was saying most of the answers to the questions that people are asking are actually on the website. If they take time and are really, really interested, they'll get all the answers. So if you fail to get the answers, then you can reach out to me. But if there's anything to do with essay review or all those things, they would have to go to SCCM and yeah, but I'll help
Yes,
where
thank
I
you.
can.
I had a query for the SCCM team. Sorry for cutting you short, Rachel.
It's okay.
I did check out the website, and I don't know if it was just me or the network where I am. I kept clicking on booking an appointment, clicking on the about, and nothing was really going direct. So maybe this is just a request, maybe to check on how the website has been designed or something. Because in fact, even, I saw this post from a friend of mine. I tried registering, I wasn't able to until someone else had to share with me the link. That is why one of the reasons why I joined in late, because I was not able to use the website at all. None of the buttons were working and so on. So maybe it's just a request.
Okay. Thank you so much for the feedback. We shall definitely work on that as well. Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate the feedback. Please keep the feedback coming in. We would love to improve your experience with the website and your experience with mentorship
Thank you. I'd actually
as
like to
well.
hear
Thank you
from
so much.
I'd like to hear from Dr. Ebo. He has been quiet this entire session.
Oh, I'm not so sure if he's able to unmute right now, but I'm representing him.
Hey, no, it's fine.
Yes,
It's fine. It's
yes,
just wanted to hear
yes.
his voice, but it's okay.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. We appreciate the session. And please join in next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Africa. And if you see any share contact in the chat, contact us via the number. And we apologize for any inconveniences. And we look forward to seeing you again. Someone asked about our services. Yes, we do career guidance and counseling, CV alignment and cover letter. We do, yes, personal discovery. And before we conclude, I'm going to call upon Dr. Dan to share with us a parting shot as we come to the close of the session.
Oh, thanks so much, Doctor, for sharing those great insights. Actually, I was here enjoying. I think the parting shot should be, let us take this opportunity. They are funding a lot of courses. Actually, it's one of the comprehensive scholarship I've ever seen. And people keep asking, we need master's scholarships, what? Now it has come, now it's our time. Let us apply, and we've gotten these great insights from Doctor. So let us go and work it. We need to be aggressive, by the way. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And please have a blessed evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening too. Bye.
Bye.
What I don't understand.